Lent is all about a journey, and it's a journey with Christ. First member of my family to come over to this country did so in 1820s. Came over as a young man with a couple of friends to look for land, to farm and have a better life. And so they went to Baltimore, and there was a land office in the city of Baltimore, and they purchased land in Ohio. And the reason they purchased that land in Ohio was because they heard there was a Catholic church nearby. Nearby was 10 miles through dense forest, streams, and even on the other side of a river. So it took hours to get to that Catholic church. So what did he do? Well, he gathered up his things, put them in a cart, filled it with food, and walked from northern Ohio to Cincinnati in the south, because there was a bishop there. And that journey took him 2 weeks, walking 15 to 20 miles a day through mud, through rain, through the hot sun, to see the bishop. And the bishop granted him permission to build another church and named it after him. But why did he make that journey day after day, through rain, through sun, walking, exhausted, not even exactly knowing the way? He made that journey for Christ. The church points out today how we're to make our own journey with Christ, and starting with our journey here through Lent. In the gospel, Christ tells us to make our journey with humility, with purity of intention, not to be showy, not to think that our self-giving is something exceptional. It's not. Whatever we give to Christ is always too little. But then we have in the first reading the prophet Joel. What does he tell us about this journey? He says, rend your hearts. Tear open your hearts for God. Christ wants our hearts. He doesn't want discouragement. He doesn't want excuses. He doesn't want this or that conversation with my brother. He wants me. He wants my heart. Christ wants conversation with me. One of the points that Pope Francis made in his Lenten message was on prayer. And he encourages us not to grow discouraged in our prayer, not to give up on prayer, not to grow tired of prayer and the commitment to prayer. Because prayer rends our hearts to Christ. Prayer opens our hearts to Christ. We need to have prayer in our lives, not just a little prayer on the side. Prayer has to be a priority in our lives. And for us, as aspiring religious and religious, prayer has to be the one thing in our life. Has to be a priority in our lives. Is prayer truly the priority in my life? Or is it something else? And so this beautiful time of Lent reminds us to really open our hearts to Christ, to rend our hearts to God, and to do that through prayer, so that His grace can work in us, and that will allow us then to have a most fruitful and most wonderful journey through Lent as we continue to clear the way through our prayer, our fasting, our almsgiving.